I will warn you. The information provided in this video, it's considered top secret by people who know about it. If somebody asks who leaked it, my official statement is, I have no idea what you're talking about. Here's what no one tells you before you buy a motorbike. It's not just a motorbike, it's everything else. You genuinely think you're just buying a bike. And that's the biggest lie, because suddenly you need to buy so many things, and most are extremely important and non-negotiable. When you are starting out, you get told to buy gear, and that includes helmet, back protector, jacket, trousers, gloves, and boots. Those are the basics. What they fail to mention is that you will end up needing different gear depending on the season. You need summer gear for when it's hot, because I know some of us have spent entire rides cooking inside our gear just to stay safe. I would rather sweat than lose my skin, and I know a lot of you feel the same. But then you also need winter gear. I don't know if any of you have ever ridden with summer gloves in 2 degrees weather, but I can tell you from experience, it is not pleasant. So the best solution is to get heated gloves, which is just more money. And then if you live in England like me, you 100% need waterproofs, because it's raining all the time. And it doesn't stop there, because that's just the gear you need to keep yourself safe. And then you start looking at what your bike needs. Paddock stands and tools, so you can do your own bike maintenance. Otherwise, that's even more money spent at a mechanic. Cleaning products, so you can look after your bike properly. Chain loop, phone holders, mounts, tire pressure gauge, security locks, tools. There's so much on the list. And of course, exhaust upgrades, because once you start riding, you quickly realize how quiet stock exhausts really are. That's why I got myself a full system exhaust, a Krapovic. I'm in love with it. And then there are the extras to make life a little bit better. Intercoms. Alright, so you will need them for GPS, talking to your mate, or if you're like me, blasting rock music through your helmet for the entire ride. Let's not forget the one thing most bikers convince themselves is an absolute necessity. I'm including myself here. The cameras, the DJIs, GoPros, the Insta360s. And honestly, with the way some people drive, it kind of is. And then there's the most important one of all, the helmet. If it's your first one, chances are it won't be your forever helmet. Eventually you realize it doesn't fit quite right, or there's something about it that just annoys you. So you buy a second one. And then you start looking at helmets a little more. Suddenly you want another, because that visor looks nice, or that one matches your bike better, or that one makes you feel like Batman, or, in my case, like a cat. No one tells you how addictive it gets. One bike turns into two, two turns into 8. I wouldn't know about that. You start giving them names and taking care of them like they are your babies. This one, it's called toothless. A lot of bikers normalize this, and I'm including myself here. You'll hear someone casually say, this is my road bike, this is my winter bike, this is my truck bike, that one is for projects, this one doesn't run, but I'll fix it someday. And this happens because you form attachments to them. I know, at least I did. You remember the rides, you remember the people you've met, and the experiences you shared. The trips, the moments, the crash stories, and the first ride. Before you know it, they are no longer just machines, they are memories you've created. I'll show you all my bikes in another video. People see the aesthetic bike edits all over social media, but nobody tells you what your life will actually become once you enter this world. Nobody really shows that side. How in winter, the cold can be so brutal that by the time you get home, you can't feel your fingers anymore. The kind of cold that gets into your bones and makes you question every life decision that brought you to that ride. How after a long ride, no matter what your age is, your back hurts, your wrist hurts, your neck hurts too. Especially on a sport bike. How the weather can change in 5 minutes and suddenly you're riding through pouring rain. Your jacket is soaked, Your trousers are soaked, your socks are soaked, and the only thing that isn't wet is the top of your head. Although that's a whole different problem. Because once you start riding, there is no such thing as a good hair day anymore. If you're on a bike, you've accepted that you'll arrive everywhere looking at least a little bit unhinged. And then there's the other part. The wind isn't exactly kind to it. And constantly putting the helmet on and off, it doesn't help either. Of course, a balaclava makes a huge difference. It helps protect it. But if you're a rider, you've probably accepted that your hair will never look exactly as when you left the house. It's just one of those trade-offs when it comes to riding. No one shows how often your chain needs cleaning, lubing, and adjusting, or how quickly your motorbike gets absolutely filthy, or how sometimes life happens, an unexpected expense comes up, and suddenly the last of your money is going on a new set of tires. No one shows how often your visor fogs up either as well, because it's freezing outside. People online make biking look aesthetic 24/7, the sunsets, the lean angles, the cool edits. Meanwhile, half of the time we're freezing, sweating, wet, broke, dirty, or mildly uncomfortable. The other half, though, it is the most freeing thing I've done. It is calming, peaceful, really, despite of all of those things. But here's the thing, even after the uncomfortable rides, the freezing fingers, the soaked gear, the bad hair days, and the money we spend on it, I would do it all over again. And this is the hardest part to explain to non-riders, because yes, it's dangerous. I've crashed, not by my own mistake, but still had a huge crash. I know people that crashed. Every rider knows that fear exists, but somehow the feel that your bike gives you, it's bigger than fear. The freedom, the peace, even the road rage can make you laugh once you're done with your ride. There's something about being on the bike that makes you feel alive in a way that's really hard to explain unless you ride. And now, after everything I have said, you are ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, go get your license, go get your gear, go get your bikes, and come be part of this beautiful and huge bike community. And be warned, once bikes become part of your life, they never really leave.